Yeah, so we were trying to set a time for this podcast, and I'm like, hey, let's do Thursday. It's the only day I got.
Yeah.
And you're like, nah, I can't do Thursday. I'm like, really? You can't let me have it this one time. This one time when normally I bend over backwards to work a time for you.
Correct.
And you're like, no, I can't do it. And then you're like, for sure. You were really mad about it. Like, hey, bro, I'm not one of your teenage employees. You're my employee.
Yeah, true. I was talking mad shit.
And you're like, hey, give me at least 24 hours. When have you ever given me more than 24 hours to record this pod?
You make a lot of good points. Hey, I want to talk about something real quick.
Yeah.
I'm actually really, really excited about it because it's something I've been thinking about all week. So at where I work, we have the radio on playing it all the time.
Yeah.
And there is this really dumb radio host who just says like these crazy, stupid things all the time. And I'm going to give you a quick example before I really bust into what I'm talking about here. The other day, she was Faith by George Michael played. And after the
Classic.
song, one of the best songs of all time, of course. After the song played, she's like, so I was just on George Michael's website, and there's a banner that says new music coming soon. George, you can't just leave me hanging like this. And I'm like, lady, he's dead. Are you fucking Yeah, he's dead. Like, do I have to call and tell you that George Michael is dead? This is your job.
You work in, they let you work in radio for a little while, so I guess it wasn't like the smartest people were working in it.
But this is like a big, like, Calgary radio station. I was working in like fucking buttfuck nowhere, small town of like 500 people radio stations.
That's true.
This is a real radio station in a city. But anyway, so recently she's been doing this thing that is driving me fucking bananas. It's driving me off the wall. She does it a lot. At least once an hour, she'll play a Queen song on the radio, and then she'll use that to segue into talking about how good Bohemian Rhapsody is. Now, this lady's on the radio every day, and she does this like fucking four times a day, easily. Hey, stop talking about how good this movie is.
Bo rap. And I feel like I'm in an Invasion of the Body Snatchers, just like screaming, it's not good. It's not been good the whole time.
Yeah, it was never good. You homophobe if you like that movie. You homophobe. Oh man, really, really whack. What's going on here? Is this gonna be content ID'd?
And you know they can never be whack. The fat boys are back.
Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck? You played the wrong song, Podcast Bot.
Podcast Bot. Is that the Bonebat show theme song?
No, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Stop there.
Thanks, Podcast Bot.
I'm afraid.
Why don't you play us something, baby?
Start? I don't feel so good.
You can practically see it from here. What?
Pod. Oh man, you know what I heard through the grapevine?
Welcome to the Movie Academic Podcast. I'm your host, Buck Hollywood LeDuc, joined by, as always, Charlie J. Fox.
Yeah, you know what I heard through the grapevine? That it is in fact fucking molten.
Yeah, it's fucking molten.
It's fucking molten, player. Welcome to the Movie Epidemic Podcast. I am scared to let Podcast Bot 5000 on the mic since he already fucked up the show by playing the wrong
Damn,
song.
you played Fat Boys Are Back?
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with it?
Hey, Podcast Bot 5000. Why don't you give it a shot? Why don't you give the intro?
Hello,
shot?
ladies. It's me, Podcast Bot.
Okay.
On the third mic.
Are you? Yeah, he's on the third mic. He is crushing it. Are you trying to pick up women via our podcast?
Maybe.
Robot women? I'm kind of into that.
Well,
what?
regular.
Regular women?
Yeah.
Podcast Bot, you will wreck them. Please don't do this.
It's me, Podcast Bot.
Hey, Podcast Bot, can you just say what we're talking about on the show today, please?
You boys will be talking about some foreign movies and some other movies that are not foreign.
Correct.
So those would be Shoplifters.
Yep.
That's a Japanese film, I believe. Subtitles. Was it hard for you to watch that movie because you can't read?
I got the gist. I got the gist of it.
You also be watching Border. Was that, hey, Jelly?
Yeah, that
Was that hard for you to watch because you can't read?
That's not why it was hard for me to watch, but we'll talk about
You'll
that.
also be watching Alien versus Predator Requiem, AVPR, full title.
This one actually was hard for me to watch.
Was this one hard for you to watch because it's so good?
What else are we talking
You'll
about?
also be watching documentary RBG, the notorious RBG.
Yeah. Stop making that sound. I hate that so much. But what Podcast Bot forgot to mention as well is that we are going to be doing our top 10 movies of 2018.
Yeah, that's right. That was a last minute schedule change, though, so I don't have that on my dossier.
It's not on the docket. Yeah, we're just going to toss that in there. We are going to because we came to the
Podcast Bot,
realization.
please leave.
Podcast Spot, get the fuck out of here. We did realize that we're not going to see anything better than the movies we've already seen at this point. We've seen all the good stuff.
I'm sure not.
We've seen all that good. I'm sure at Eternity's Gate is fine, but we'll talk about that.
Well, you missed House
next
of
week.
Jack Build, and I don't really trust you. But
Oh shit, that's right. I did. Oh shit, I missed House of Jack Bill. Okay, well I might go back and watch that and then re-edit my list later. But for today, I do have the definitive movie Epidemic top 10 Chadley's movies of the year list.
Wow.
What do we want to start with today? What do we start with?
Start with Border.
Let's start with Border. Yeah. Okay. So
It's fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
It will be fresh in my mind for many, many eons to come.
I can't stop thinking about it. This movie is, dare I say, loathsome.
Oh, it's a wonderful piece of work.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be like a Tusk type thing. Where
It's most definitely a Tuskegee situation.
It's a Tusk type movie where either you hate it or you love it. I'm going to take a wild step and say you love it.
I loved how uncomfortable you were.
Yeah, it was. I hated this movie.
I don't think the movie's very good, but I do like how much you hated it, which makes me like the movie a lot. It makes me think that the movie probably met its goals correctly.
Yeah.
If you hated it that much.
Yeah, they were sitting there and they're like, how do we make Chadley as uncomfortable as possible? Because this is an uncomfortable movie, and I think with this with a better script, an uncomfortable movie is fine. Like The Fly is one of my favorite movies. That's an uncomfortable movie to watch, but it's a good script. So I think with a good script, you can, or Videodrome is another great example. A lot of Cronenberg stuff.
Mostly just Cronenberg body horror.
Yeah, mostly Cronenberg stuff. Like it can be gross and uncomfortable, but the movie's also got to be good. Like I like the characters in The Fly. Like I like Gina Davis and I like Jeff Goldblum and I like James Woods in Videodrome. Whereas this, oh boy, do I ever not like the characters. And I think the movie's a little bit manipulative. And here's why: is that
I understand how you can't like Tina. She's a feminist icon.
She's fine, I guess. She's a fine character. She's definitely the best character in the movie. But don't worry, none of the characters in this movie are any good. Like the neighbors' characters. Like they really built those characters up like they were gonna be something, and then did like nothing with the.
What do you mean
characters.
they stole the fucking?
Yeah, they
baby?
stole the baby. Yeah, they stole the baby. But like those characters didn't end up like meaning anything. Those characters.
They were there to steal a
They
baby.
were set pieces. They weren't characters.
But as you're acting like they're in it more than 5 seconds in the entire movie.
No, but they are in it for a decent amount.
They're in it for maybe 3 minutes of this
well,
fucking 2-hour movie.
Maybe like 7 minutes.
No,
So it's like
no.
they're in it just as much as Anthony Hopkins is in Silence of the Lambs, for sure.
But okay.
But then, okay, so you have... you know who is actually my favorite character is Roland? God, I love him.
Oh, which one was that?
He's the Tina's shitty boyfriend.
Oh, yeah.
who fucking... He's got an obsession with show dogs, which is very funny to me, actually.
That's some Christopher Guest shit.
Yeah, I just think, like, there's some good stuff in this movie, but it's so heavily outweighed by the stuff about this movie I hate. This movie is gross, and like I said, like it's okay to be gross sometimes, but this movie is gross in a manipulative way, and that's why I don't like it.
That's why I think it's so funny.
Yeah, because the point is that
Every time you were covering your eyes, I was howling with laughter.
Because the problem with this movie is that
and I think in this case, you are correct because no one else in the theater was laughing.
Yeah.
But I was fucking howling, dude.
Yeah, it was me and a bunch of other people. It was packed, by the way. I was surprised.
Yeah, it was
really
a lot of
packed.
old people too, which I like.
Yeah,
Because that's not for them.
They definitely did not enjoy this. They're like, ooh, a Swedish film. It's nominated for an Academy Award. Which, by the way,
Honestly, I think we got to go over to Sweden and check on the entire country because something fucked up's going on over there. This is what happens when you have summer camps for prisons, Chadley.
Yeah, so this is something that I do want to get out of the way right away, is that this movie is nominated for Best Makeup in a movie. Definitely deserves it. Like,
They are grotesque.
The makeup in this movie is very good.
They look better than Gary Oldman in playing fucking
playing Winston Churchill.
Playing Churchill,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Because those things look like monsters to me.
The prosthetics, yeah, the monsters. But here's my problem with the movie is that they give you like these people who have like these facial deformities.
Yeah.
And like you think that it's gonna be like a movie about like inner beauty, and I guess maybe they didn't want to go like the obvious route, maybe. But it's so manipulative because they have these people who are clearly like, honestly, like if I'm being honest, they're physically grotesque, right? But then they have them doing physically grotesque things to cap it off, like eating maggots off of trees and shit like that. And we'll get into some of the weirder stuff later because I'm really not interested in not spoiling this movie because we have to talk about this shit.
Yeah.
But the thing is they have them doing grotesque things, and it's almost like they build it up throughout the first half of the movie that's like, look how gross they are. And then you as an audience are like, yeah, that's pretty gross. And then the screenwriters are like, how fucking dare you, you shallow piece of shit, think that they're gross. Like, it's so manipulative, and I hate that. Yeah, that's
fair enough.
That's tip of the iceberg shit too.
Yeah,
like, because this movie. Here's the thing.
I also think from a different angle. I think what they're really doing is leading you into how gross it's going to be. I think they're towing the lead here.
Yeah, they're holding your hand as if to be like, okay, they're eating maggots, but
don't worry, it's going to get more fucked up.
Yeah, like the maggot thing is tame, so just don't worry about that. Then, like, oh man, whew. So this is a fantasy drama.
Yeah,
okay, so
I'm going to explain folklore.
I'm going to explain the first half of this movie really quickly because there is a plot line in this movie I really, really like, and that is like the plot line where Tina is with the police trying to catch the pedophiles.
Right.
That's pretty interesting. That's pretty good, and that's like some of the first half of the movie. She works as a border guard who can sniff out like shame and guilt and shit like that. Which as soon as they announce that, like as soon as they establish that she can smell shame, I'm like, okay, I'm already kind of off board here, but let's see what else we got here. And so she's very good at her job because she can do this, and nobody else can do this. Nobody knows why she can do this. And then, oh boy, we have Vor.
Oh, dude, Vor is the greatest character in cinema history.
Character of the year, maybe, but
definitely on a list of some sort.
Yeah, he's on a list somewhere.
Definitely on some sort of list.
I don't know what the title of the
Vor.
list is. It might be
Vor.
might be Sweden's most wanted. But so Vor,
God, he embodies looking like a rapist.
He's good though. Like Vor is.
Dude, he's got that cheeky smile.
Yeah.
God, he looks like a rapist, dude.
I'm doing the smile, but you can't see it because it's a podcast. Vor is. The actor is great. He's really good.
Oh, he's wonderful.
Yeah, and you know what? I think most of the performances in this movie are meh. Like really meh. Like the dad, that dude barely goes, dude.
I don't know if he was even an
shit.
actor.
Yeah,
it just seems like he was an old guy.
Yeah, it just seemed like exactly.
And then like a lot of the border guard people were like
fucking bad. Yeah,
the border guard people and all the people involved in the pedophile ring, they're all just bad acting.
Yeah, like that the guy with the fucking weird tight beard that he's got going on, the pedophile with the weird.
Oh right,
beard.
I forgot that whole part where they were interrogating them for a little bit.
Yeah, don't worry.
That's bad stuff.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Content.
It's bad content. Yeah, man. And then, oh man, what happens next? So she meets Vor, and he realizes like they're both like grotesque people, and so she lets him move into her like guest house.
Yeah.
And her boyfriend is like, I ain't having none of that shit. And her boyfriend's like, I don't have a job, but I call the shots around here. He's one of these fucking guys.
Yeah.
He's
like you. He's basically like you.
Yeah, he is a lot like me, except for some reason I have my own home, which is actually shocking.
Not for long.
Yeah, not for long.
I won't have that for long.
And I only recently got it. So
yeah.
So it's only so long before, I default on my rent and they fucking kick me out. So
that's not really what it's called.
Is that not what it's called?
It's called getting evicted because you didn't pay your rent.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, that's gonna happen probably.
Yeah.
That's probably
Very
that,
likely.
that's probably gonna happen, to be honest. But so she lets him live in her guest house, and all the while, her shitty boyfriend keeps going away to these dog shows, and all the while, she falls in love with this guy Vor, who's like this quite hideous, disgusting man. He's the one who's like eating the maggots and like he's doing something. He's man, he does some weird stuff in this movie, like when he gives birth.
Oh, dude, that was the best scene in the movie.
That's the scene where I think I almost left. I think that like after that scene, I turned to you.
You stood up.
Yeah,
And I'm like, no.
And I think I turned to you and I said, "Dude, I'm walking. Dude, I am walking." And I think it was at that part when he gives birth to the half baby.
Yeah, the changeling. Perfect. Wonderful.
Yeah, perfect. Okay,
and he keeps it, dude. This gives us some heavy Lynchian vibes, dude.
Yeah.
Some heavy Eraserhead vibes.
Yeah, but then this movie becomes the most insane amount of bullshit that you can possibly come up with because Vor.
Okay, because this is where I really start liking the movie.
This is where you check in.
Yeah, this is where I'm signing in for the day.
This is where I check out. So Vor and Tina are falling in love, and they start making out, and they both take off their pants. Turns out, they both have vaginas.
Oh, weird.
So what do you do now? Don't worry, because Tina grows a penis.
Hell yeah. No, it unsheaths it like a dog.
Oh, I see. Is that what that is?
Yeah, they're dog monsters, so it unsheaths. It unsheaths.
Yeah, so it turns out Tina doesn't have like a chromosome deformity. Actually, she's part of a rare race of trolls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm out.
No, I'm in. I'm 100% in now.
I'm out as soon as
dude,
you
I'm
say
in
this.
now more than ever because now everything's allowed to make sense because it's fantasy.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, sure, but it's still very dumb.
I'm not debating that one iota. I'm debating that it's fine now. We're on the level, baby.
Yeah, we're okay. All right, this is where definitely I'm out. But then the pedophiles are like fucking babies and stuff, which is
yeah, it's real fucked up. This movie's real fucked up.
Yeah, it's very
real
fucked up.
Yeah, and it wants you to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, it definitely
down to him eating bacon. They want this to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, it bathes in discomfort for sure. But yeah, the pedophiles are fucking babies, and they catch them fucking babies, and they have it like on. My favorite part is when they're like looking at the video, and they're like, "Hey, you see this video of this guy fucking a baby?" And he's like, "Oh, that's fucking disgusting." And they're like, "That's your shoes in the shot, dude."
A lot of black sneakers.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of black sneakers in this world.
Jesus.
Yeah, and so what it turns out to be going on is that Vor is giving birth to these changeling blob creatures that are just like unfertilized babies.
Yeah.
And then he's swapping them out with real babies and then selling the babies to pedophiles.
Yeah.
So
Because he hates the human race.
Because he hates humans so much that he wants
they
the
cut off
babies
his
to,
tail.
He wants
They
and like
abused him.
He's shaming the human race for fucking babies, but he's telling them to do it. He's getting them to fuck the babies. And then, as if this movie couldn't get any wackier, Vor just jumps off a boat.
Yeah, well, he's getting arrested and he jumps off a boat.
He jumps off a fucking boat. And then, like, it's like months later, and Tina's living in the woods now. She doesn't give a shit anymore. You know, she's troll. She's troll.
Yeah, troll.
And then she gets a package in the mail, and it's by the way, I love that they can just keep troll babies in boxes and shit. Like the troll baby that they just keep in the fridge.
Yeah.
Wild.
That's some Lynchian shit. Dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lynchian shit.
And then he ships a troll baby to her in the mail, and it's just fine.
Oh,
and,
in mail?
In mail, and then movie ends. What?
Well, what's wrong with that? That's the end of the movie.
I just wish the movie had ended 5 minutes after it started.
I bet.
Yeah, this movie's uncomfortable, but I don't feel like there's like a genuine payoff.
I agree that it has nothing to say. Nothing to say.
Yeah.
But the journey is so hilarious to me that I can't help but look at it.
Maybe if you watch it as a comedy, it's way better.
I think it is a comedy.
Yeah.
It's to me this is a gross out comedy. And it has nothing to say.
Yeah.
Like most comedies. As fucking actually Seth Rogen comedies have more to say than this movie.
Absolutely.
But I still had a blast watching it.
I did, and you know what? I just didn't. So I think I'm gonna plant this at the legendary half star. I really do not like this.
Oh,
movie
this is an easy 3-star.
an easy 3.
Easy
Ooh.
3.
I was thinking maybe you'd do 2.
Nah.
I was thinking maybe 2, but
No,
yeah,
because I also got to watch it with you, which was the best time I've ever had in the theater.
You know what? You might be onto something here. You definitely might be onto something.
Because
here.
here's the thing I love about Chadley. Whenever we go to any movie and there's like a sex scene, you just start cheering because you're that immature. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. So this movie, every time there was a gross sex scene, I started cheering just so that you could understand how fucking much I hate that.
Yeah, I remember. I specifically remember my favorite part of this entire movie wasn't anything that happened in the movie, but it was something that you said. It was when they first pulled the baby out of the fridge and they opened it up in full volume. You were like, "Hell yeah,
Hell yeah, player."
oh Jesus, yeah. I don't like this movie. Want to talk about Shoplifters?
Yeah, dude.
Okay, so I'm on the other side of the spectrum for this movie because this is like one of the best fucking movies I've ever seen.
This is like a decader, dude.
Yeah.
This is the movie that
Roma wants to be.
That Roma should have like the praise that Roma got should have been for Shoplifters.
Absolutely, this movie is one of the best movies
This
I've
is a
seen this year.
decader, dude.
Yeah,
this is up there with Florida Project for a decader.
Yeah,
dude.
I'm going to think about this movie for a very long time. However, that being said, on that same note, I actually thought this movie was a lot like Florida Project. It had a lot of the same beats and a lot of the same themes about like children in poverty and and how normal that is for them. But this movie essentially is about this young couple, I guess I would say like probably in like early 40s, maybe late 30s, who sort of they find kids off the street or find kids in bad situations.
That's not
that's
not immediately evident though. This is all stuff that it builds up to.
Exactly, and that's what my favorite part about this movie is, because what they're doing throughout this entire movie is kidnapping. It's illegal.
Yeah.
But you don't think about it that way because they're good people. Like it's very, very bizarre.
This is true filmmaking, right? This is art right here.
Yeah,
dude.
absolutely.
This is what I talk about when I talk about how Venom is terribly written and people are like, no, it's written fine. I'm like, go watch a movie that's actually written.
Yeah. Go watch Shoplifters, because this movie is perfectly. It's maybe the most well-structured movie I've seen in like 5 years.
Go watch Bo Rap and then watch this, and you'll see the difference in quality.
Yeah, and then tell me Bo Rap. Hey, why have you seen Bo Rap 7 times? Stop watching it. Watch Shoplifters, you fucking people.
Bryan Singer's a rapist.
Yeah, Bryan Singer is a rapist. Much like Vor.
Vor.
Yeah, Bryan Singer was in Border, by the way.
I don't know if you heard that, but when they were first talking about the baby rings, pedophile rings, I turned. I'm like, Bryan Singer boy party.
Yeah, you know what? I did hear that. I forgot about it, but I did hear it now that you mention it.
Hell yeah.
So Shoplifters is this movie. Yeah, like I said, it's about the young couple. They bring kids in, and then they teach them how to shoplift. And one of the most powerful moments in this movie is when someone is like, "Why would you teach kids how to shoplift?" And the dad, quote unquote, looks into the camera and he just says, "Because I have nothing else that I can teach them. Like I have nothing else to pass on but this strength and this ability." Yeah, this movie is wickedly powerful.
Oh yeah,
insanely powerful.
And every time you think it's about to end, it does some sort of new twist. It adds some sort of new wrinkle to the relationship.
Oh, and just as you're wiping the tears away, they start coming again, dude.
Hell yeah.
Dude, this movie is very emotional because like it's mostly about the kids, right? Like this movie, it's mostly about the kids, specifically like the youngest girl who they took from like an abusive household.
Yeah.
Like right at the beginning of the movie, and they sort of have to, change her name. They change her name to Lynn, I believe it was. They have to cut her hair, make her look like something completely different.
Yeah.
So that nobody finds this little girl. And as here's why this movie is perfect, because as you're watching this, you're like, yeah, change her name, cut her hair.
Yeah, and probably my favorite actor is the mom in this movie. She's so good.
She's amazing.
Because there's like all those scenes where like the little girl's like, I don't want you to hit me, and she's like, I'm not gonna hit you.
She's like, I'm not gonna hit you, and then she'll like hug her and be like, this is literally all I want to do. Like this is
she's
what
like,
you do.
I was like blown away by how good that lady was at acting.
Yeah, she was very good.
Fucking phenomenal.
The dad's good too, but he sort of bathes in silliness, which I love. Especially like when he's running away from doing some shoplifting, he's got like a funny little run, which I love. Yeah, and this movie, like, it takes you through like all these things, because like the shoplifting aspect of this movie is so little about what this movie is about.
Yeah.
It's like such a tiny fraction of what this movie is about, because this movie is really about having a family and like what it's like. And even like the little girl like draws pictures of things that they did together, even though like she's kidnapped, right? Like she's been kidnapped by these people. You know, it's almost Stockholm syndrome, but they're like legit good people. It's like Beauty and the Beast. It's fucking,
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. It's perfect. It's like one of the best movies I've ever seen. And yeah, I think they knew what they were doing here. The structure is
Wonderful looking movie. Too.
beyond words. Yeah, great looking movie. I love
long.
Japanese
It is
style.
long.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't even know if I'd say it's long. It's what 220.
Yeah,
220.
I didn't really feel it.
I didn't feel it at all.
I could have sat there for another fucking hour probably.
Yeah, honestly, I thought I was there for like 45 minutes when it ended, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I guess we're just.
And if it wasn't midnight when it ended, I probably just would have sat in darkness for like 15 minutes because this movie really took a lot out of me, man. It's one of the best movies I've ever fucking seen in my life.
Yeah, like it'll dive into your
And we saw this like a couple weeks ago now, and it's really just sinking in more.
Yeah, it sits with you a lot, and it'll dive into your body and it'll rip you apart on purpose. And it knows that it's doing that. It knows that it's getting you to connect to these characters before they really bring out the big guns with the stuff, like especially like the climax, like the last like 45 minutes is some of the best filmmaking I've ever seen in my entire life. Yeah, this is an absolute. You know what? Like, look, I like Roma. But fuck Roma. See this movie. This is a way better version of Roma.
There's a lot of similar aspects to it also.
Yeah. This is like if Roma ate the Florida Project and then flew over to Japan. Because it does have the Japanese weirdness too, which I really like.
The Japanese and kind of that weird like, oh, all of a sudden the grandma died, let's bury her. That just weird kind of Japanese thing where
just
it's like
bury her in the fucking backyard.
Where it's just like out of left field too. It just it feels like a Takashi Miike thing.
Yeah, Takashi, dude, I love Takashi.
Yeah,
Beat Takashi.
Takashi Miike.
No, we're thinking of different people. I'm talking about Beat Takashi.
I don't know who that is.
he's like a Japanese action star.
Oh, I'm talking about Takashi Miike, who probably directed him a lot because he directed over 100 movies.
Oh yeah, probably actually. Beat Takeshi, wasn't he? Beat Takeshi was the Japanese guy in that Ghost in the Shell movie. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
God, I love Beat Takeshi. He's such a madman. Yeah, but this movie, it's like it's flawless. There's truly not a second of this movie that I wasn't 100% invested in.
And it hits all your emotions.
And it gets you in right away.
Yeah.
Like within 10 seconds of the movie starting, you're like, I'm invested.
Yeah.
I'm invested in these characters.
It opens
now.
with a great shoplift.
Yeah, a really cool shoplift
shoplift.
between the dad and the son. Yeah, and the scene where they're fucking, man, that's crazy. Like it's the most wacky fuck scene I've ever seen in my entire life. Oh man, this is a 5.
Oh yeah, it's the easiest 5. It's maybe the best movie I've seen this year.
It's a goddamn easy 5. Do we want to
talking about that? Let's hit our top 10 for the year. Here.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what I was gonna say. So I got mine ready and curated. Some of mine. Look, here's the thing: is that there's been a lot of bad movies this year, but this has actually been a great year for movies.
So good.
Not Academy Award movies. Nothing there.
But everything we talked about.
Yeah, everything
we hit the good stuff.
Yeah, we hit the good stuff. The following movies that you're about to hear are the actual Academy Awards Best Picture nominations.
Well, as you know, the Epidemic Awards.
The Epidemic Awards, yes.
The Demi Awards.
That's the real important one.
These are the real Oscars.
Yes, absolutely.
So what do you got for your number 10 there, Chadley?
My number 10 couldn't make a list without including my good buddy Wes Anderson.
Oh, Wesley, eh?
Wesley Anderson. Number 10 is Isle of Dogs. This is the only animated movie on my list.
That one is number 11 for me. Just missed it.
Just
missed it.
Just
as much as I love you,
scripts.
Wesley, you were up there though.
Yeah,
you were in my 4 spot for a long time, and then all this shit just started to happen.
yeah. The movie that I had in my number 1 spot is like my number 7. Like for the longest time, it was in the 1 spot. Now it's like 7. There was a lot of good stuff this year. But Isle of Dogs is an absolutely. First of all, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
great looking movie. But it also has that Japanese weirdness. You know,
it's very Japanese weird, and it's made by Wes.
And it's made by Wes. But also maybe made by maybe ghost directed by some Japanese people because it's
Miike.
Yeah, Miike might be in there, you know.
My number 10, I'm gonna go with Annihilation.
Annihilation. Oh, our boy Alex Garland.
Alex Garland,
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac.
On that
Natalie Portman.
2001-ish shit.
It's on that ish shit.
Yeah. It's
Not quite there, but it's on that ish
It's
shit.
Kubrick-esque.
if Alex Garland and Denny Villeneuve like came together, maybe their two brains could make a coup.
No, too powerful. That's too powerful.
Maybe that together they could make a coup, but separately they're kind of there.
Yeah, we got two half cubes here.
We got a couple half cubes on deck.
Yeah, absolutely. My number 9 is going to be a movie made out of Oakland, Maryland.
Oh, hell yeah.
Sorry to bother you.
Wow, hell yeah.
Yeah, number 9, my Sorry to Bother You, Army Hammer, promising
That's going to be a
horse
heavy
cock.
punt.
Yeah, that's going to be a big punt. Dude.
Heavy,
I'm sure
heavy punt.
I'm sure a lot of these are going to be punts, to be honest.
sure.
Sorry to Bother You is just really, it's really wacky.
Yeah.
What's that? Boots Riley made
Boots
this
Riley,
movie?
rapper Boots Riley.
Rapper Boots Riley.
Who I'm assuming is going to get a lot more opportunities now because
this
pretty
movie's
much
amazing.
everyone in the world that have seen it.
Yeah.
Loves Sorry to Bother You.
But also, some people hate it. Good Buddy Lauxie said it was the worst movie of the year. But Good Buddy Lauxie has notoriously bad taste, so I don't know.
But that's because he doesn't track satire, though, and that's fine.
Yeah, he also doesn't understand the horse joke, which is half the movie. And if you don't get the horse joke, then you don't get the movie.
Yeah.
What's your number 9?
My number 9, I'm going to go with a movie that has really sat with me for a long time, and that's going to be Hereditary.
Hereditary. See, this one actually did miss my list by a little bit.
Yeah.
I do really, really like this movie. There's some shocking shit in this movie.
Yeah, dude, it fucked me up.
Yeah, especially like
real
that
bad.
last scene where like she's flying into the treehouse. Like
That's scary when the little girl loses her head. That fucked me up. And then they just show it with the ants on it, dude.
yeah,
They had to get this is Hollywood. They had to get an ant wrangler in there to put it on the fake head and everything. Like you got to think about that kind of stuff, man.
yeah, absolutely. And this truly is one of the best movies of the year.
Those
Just-
ants are in a fucking union. They get screeners.
yeah,
They're union ants.
yeah, they're actually more part of the union than we are, to be honest.
That is very true.
Yeah. When we're done this list, though, I do want to do what's the word I'm looking for? Honorable mentions because there's some shit I just couldn't fit on here.
That's
it was
number
too
8.
good of a year. My number 8. This is a movie that sat with me really like quite a lot, and a movie that I thought about and still am thinking about and wondering about the social impact of it, and that is Minding the Gap.
Okay, that's a punt.
Yeah, that's one of the documentaries that we saw this year. We actually got the early. We saw the early showing of this at
That's right.
Cuff Docs Festival, and this was.
It's actually playing right now. If you haven't seen it yet,
It's
worldwide release right now.
It's wide right now.
Yeah, it's wide.
Yeah,
right
so
now.
we saw this months ago at the Cuff Docs. That was in November.
It's on Obama's top 10.
It's on Obama's top 10.
20 or
a
whatever.
lot of Obama's top 10s
Mine
are
is
on
mostly
mine.
Obama's top 20, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's 15, isn't it? 15?
I don't remember,
Yeah. He
but
just said he was just like, here's some shit I like.
Here's some shit I like, although it was probably one of his interns that wrote it.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
Whatever.
In fact, I would be surprised if Obama saw half those films.
Like, where did Obama see Minding the Gap? Like,
Yeah.
you don't go to film festivals, Obama, but you're not in the union.
However, what's the name of the director of this movie? It's like something Lee.
Bing Lee or something.
Yeah, Bing Lee. If you're Bing Lee, and you
Bing
made
Liu.
Bing Liu, and if you're Bing Liu, and you have just made this documentary, and it's the first thing you've ever like done, like the first movie ever
dude.
directed,
And you're on Obama's
and then Barack
Best of the year?
Obama puts you on his best of the year list. Tight,
yeah,
dude.
dude.
That's got to feel real good for
I'll
Bing
bring
Liu.
that up so that we can compare it. My number 8's going to be First Reformed.
First Reformed. That's going to be a bunt. We'll talk about
That's
that.
a heavy bunt, hey?
That's going to be a heavy bunt. First Reformed, one of the best movies of the year. I keep trying to get my mom to watch it because I think she would like it, and she keeps watching all. My mom liked Green Book, by the way, which is
That makes sense. My mom also liked it.
is insane. Yeah, which is crazy insane. Oh, I wanted to share something too. So I do a lot of recommending movies to my mom because I want my mom to watch more good movies.
Yeah.
And so I recommended Blind Spotting to her.
Oh, yeah.
And she texted me back her review, and it's the most on brand my mom thing that's ever been said. She just said, "I just watched Blind Spotting. Very good. Not sure about the rapping." That was it.
Yeah, she'd hate Hamilton. Hey,
That's incredibly
so
on brand.
I'm just going to run through Obama's top 15 quickly because most of our shit is
Okay.
on here. Annihilation, Black Panther, Black Klansman, Blind Spotting, Burning, Death of Stalin, 8th Grade, Beale Street, Leave No Trace, Minding the Gap, The Rider, Roma, Shoplifters, Support the Girls, and Won't You Be My Neighbor.
Won't you be my neighbor? Those are good picks, dude, and a lot of them are on my list.
Strong picks. Strong picks by the president.
But my
Former
number,
president.
but my number 7 is going to be one that actually is not on Obama's list, and it's
Yeah.
a movie I fucking love. John Krasinski's
Okay.
A Quiet Place.
Sure.
I love this movie.
Nothing
so
wrong with
much.
that pick. That's a
Yeah.
good pick.
Really, really
That
good
one
movie.
is-
Heavy suspense.
That one's number 19 for me.
Number 19. That's yeah.
Still my top 20. Still my top 20.
I really love this movie. I think it's near perfect. But just couldn't quite get the Hereditary on my list. So I'm like, I gotta get
Sure.
something on here. So
Yeah.
I got Quiet Place on here at number 7.
So my number 7 is, in fact, on Obama's list, and we talked about it last week. If Beale Street Could Talk.
If Beale Street Could Talk, I'm gonna be very honest with you. It was a very difficult decision for me to not put this movie on my list.
I can't get over how good the score is.
It
blows my mind how good the score is.
It is a very good movie, and it's definitely my number 11. Definitely my number 11, and it was such a
Fair
difficult
enough.
decision.
Fair
It's just there
enough.
were so many good fucking
There's a
movies
lot
this
of good
year.
movies. Well, we should have just done a top 20 to be honest. But
Yeah, what the fuck were we thinking, to be honest? My number 6 is a movie that also is on Obama's list. This is Won't You Be My Neighbor?
Okay, didn't
movie,
quite make mine. That's number 13.
Yeah, a movie about Mr. Rogers and his life.
Yeah.
And just like, and that movie it hit me in so many emotional ways.
'Cause
And
you watch Mr. Rogers.
yeah, of course. Yeah, I watched Mr.
Yeah,
Rogers
me
as a kid. We all did, you know.
Well,
That
not
show-
all of us.
Yeah,
but
well, I mean,
most
I
of us
guess
did.
most of the listeners are like
Apparently
born in
no
like
one-
2002 or whatever. You know?
Well, and apparently no one in the Academy watched it.
Yeah, nobody in the Academy watched it because for some reason RBG is nominated and this isn't. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, but I understand that actually.
Yeah, it does actually kind of make sense. God, they love America. Yeah, so I really love Won't You Be My Neighbor.
Wonderful doc.
I'm shocked. Like,
Powerful
I
doc.
thought it was a shoe-in for Best Doc. I thought it was a
Absolutely.
shoe-in to win Best Doc.
Absolutely.
But at this point, I think Minding the Gap's probably the shoe-in
Or Free
to win.
Solo.
Or Free. Yeah, I don't know. Is that the one with the rock climbing? Isn't that bad?
I don't like it, but apparently people
Did?
Apparently, according to the 50 comments on my Letterboxd review, that I have a bad take on that movie.
You might have a bad take.
Because I see the guy as like an unsufferable asshole that can't make human connections. Like myself,
Yeah, that's very true.
an insufferable asshole, and
You're the most antisocial fuckface I've ever
and I just
met.
I hated watching him, even though it's amazing, like that he climbed that fucking mountain without a rope.
Was that Everest?
Nah, it wasn't Everest. It's just like some giant mountain that's like very hard to climb.
Oh.
No one's ever done it before, and they caught it on film. And that's amazing. But I just don't like him as a person. I don't think he's good. And everybody's like, no, he's just obsessed and stuff. I'm like, nah, he's just an asshole.
He's just an asshole. Like you. You relate to the character, but also you hate him. I get it.
Well, I hate myself. My number 6 is going to be Minding the Gap.
Minding the Gap. Heavy
God,
punt.
Bing.
God, Bing. How'd you do it? How did you collect that much information? Like
It's unbelievable.
yeah, it's one of the most crazy things I've ever seen. My number 5 is already it's a bunt. My number 5 is First Reformed.
Okay.
Ethan Hawke. Paul Schrader, dude. Dude, what the fuck, Paul Schrader?
Come on, Paul.
Why are you making good movies now? It's confusing to me
Because they finally didn't take the film and re-edit it so that they're like, oh, this will be better for audiences. No, we want to see the crazy shit where Ethan Hawke's flying through space. We want to see that shit.
they also didn't hire another director to make the same movie and beg them to race. You know, like they did with was that Paul Schrader Exorcist movie? Which one did he even do? Was it?
I don't even know.
I think it was the second one. The second one. What was that called? Promotion.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
know.
truly don't know.
I truly forget the title of that fifth Exorcist film because it's a fucking horrific film.
My number 5 is going to be Blind Spotting.
Blind Spotting, one of the best movies of the decade. That's one that's definitely going to be sticking with me for sure.
I just loved it so much, and it's a tight 90.
I agree.
And it says so much in 90.
Yeah, it's very, very. It's an important film. That's going to be a bunt, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
My number 4. Again, this is a bunt. Annihilation.
Oh, you had that high up there. Hey?
Dude, I love this shit.
Absolutely.
Like, this is the exact shit I'm looking for. I remember watching this in my shitty old apartment, not even the apartment I live in now, the shitty old apartment, and just being blown away by, like, especially the last, like, 30 minutes. Oh, he's got the book. He's got the fucking book.
It's the trilogy, actually. Because apparently these books are like 25 pages. Because like
yeah, that's the size of one book. Yeah,
that's the size of one king.
yeah, that's what's that, like 800 pages for 3 books?
No, it's less. It's like 600.
But yeah, Annihilation, one of the best movies of the year. I love Garland. I love what he's doing.
Alex Garland's the best. Dude.
I'm so excited.
I'm so happy that he stopped writing movies and started directing.
Yeah,
movies.
because between this and Ex Machina, it's like some of the best sci-fi that
for sure.
Yeah, but look, Garland and Villeneuve, like these are the guys. These are our guys now, and nobody gives a shit but you and I.
Yeah.
Why did nobody see Annihilation? It was crazy,
dude. This class of filmmakers is like it's like a class that's skating under the radar. It's fucking Villeneuve and Garland and these other guys here.
Yeah, and they're fucking amazing. Boots Riley.
Although
Boots Riley might have sort of gotten out of that at this point, because that movie was really successful. Sorry to bother you.
Yeah. I mean, those other movies are successful.
The only people who didn't see it is the Academy.
Apparently. My number 4, we're getting into territory here that you haven't seen yet, but we're going with The House of Jack Built.
House of Jack Built. I really want to see this movie. I love Lars von Trier. I love what he's doing. He's
love Matt Dillon.
Yeah. I like Matt Dillon less.
This is the best performance that I've ever seen from him.
From Matt Dillon. Well, yeah. That's a fair point. I like Thurman. I like Uma.
Sure.
Isn't there someone else famous in that too?
There's a lot of famous people, but they're all in it for like 5 minutes because he just kills the shit out of them.
I do really want to see this movie. I love Lars von Trier. I love what he's doing. I love.
You'll either love it or hate it. If you get like the satire component, and I think you will. I think you will pick it up.
Yeah.
I think you'll love the shit out of it.
Because I get the satire of Nymphomaniac. Hey, there's no way that dude legitimately just made a movie about Shia LaBeouf entering his wife for 6 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
That movie's 6 hours. It's so fucking long.
It's 2 parts.
Yeah.
2 3-hour parts.
Because Lars von Trier is an insane person. Are you ready for the wackiest inclusion on my top 10 list?
Yeah, I'm ready.
And it's truly a movie that I love this movie so much, and I can't stop thinking about. My number 3, that's going to be Mandy.
Okay.
God, I love Mandy.
I'm fine with that. That's on my top 20 for sure.
Mandy is amazing.
17 for me.
17. It's my number 3. I love this movie. This is the movie. This was at my number 1 for a really long time, up until a couple of weeks ago. But Mandy is just electrifying. I love this movie so much. The first hour is bizarre and wild and fun, and then the second hour is just pure entertainment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pure evil.
Pure evil.
And Nicolas Cage, by the way, is actually good.
God, he's phenomenal.
This is like one of the performances that he gives a shit.
It's one of the best performances of the year.
Yeah.
When we get to that list.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next
Nick
week,
Cage. I'm thinking instead of this year, because last few years we've done like male and female performances, top 5. Let's just do top 10 performances altogether.
Okay. Inclusive. I like that.
Yeah, very inclusive. We're trying to be more inclusive than the Academy. So.
Absolutely.
Because the Academy hates the gays.
My number 3.
Black people. Yeah.
Okay.
You're number 3.
My number 3 is going to be a Korean flick because South Korea is out here single-handedly saving cinema every single year. This is Burning.
Yeah, I haven't got a chance to see this yet.
Phenomenal.
I've got it.
Phenomenal.
I've got it. I'm ready to watch it at any time.
And boy, let me tell you, it's a slow burn, but it's worth every second because it's so crazy.
Well, it's South Korea, so you know that they're making shit. East Asia is really just making good shit, right?
Absolutely.
My number 2. That's going to be Shoplifters. We talked about it today.
Cool. Yeah.
This is
That's going to be a heavy bond.
Yeah, it's going to be heavy. Oh, my number 2 is Shoplifters. This is a really, really insanely good movie about just about finding normalcy in things that are abnormal.
Absolutely.
And I love it. I absolutely adore it.
My number 2 was on top of my list for most of the year. It's going to be Sorry to Bother You.
Sorry to bother you.
My number 2.
Boots Riley.
This movie just like blew the doors off of everything I knew about cinema very early in the year.
Yeah.
And it stuck with me that entire time.
It makes new rules about cinema, and that's why
Absolutely.
that's why it's so good.
Yeah. It's doing its own. It's absolutely doing its own thing. It's worth every praise that I give it.
And so my number 1, and this is just like, it's undebatable. This is, look, in a year of amazing films, this is my number 1 by a long shot. This movie's fucking way ahead of everything else I've seen this year. My number 1 is Blind Spotting. Just one of the most incredible things I've ever seen.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, you're missing out. It's fucking amazing.
So that brings my number 1 to Shoplifters.
Shoplifters! I knew it!
It's fucking phenomenal. One of
As
the best movies I've ever fucking seen.
As soon as we walked out of the theater, I'm like, man, I love that movie, but this motherfucker next to me, God, I could tell he was just eating it up more than I was, which is crazy because it's my number 2. It's one of my favorite movies of the year. This movie's amazing.
I also love Blind Spotting. That's not a bad pick. That's a great pick.
Yeah, Blind Spotting is amazing. I really like that movie. Few honorable mentions. One that I couldn't squeeze quite on there, and you might laugh at me for this one, but I really wanted to get the Spider-Man on there. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
I get
actually
it. I
really like that
understand
movie. Missed out on getting Hal onto my top 10.
Hal missed on mine. Skate Kitchen is a movie I really liked from last year.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet. 8th Grade is good. I liked 8th Grade. Maybe not as much as some people, but I do think it's good. But there was a lot of really good movies this year. Fuck, Bumblebee.
Won't You Be My Neighbor, Bumblebee. Yeah.
Bumblebee.
I feel bad now getting Won't You Be My Neighbor on there.
The
But
Meg, Super Grid.
The Meg, of course.
Yeah, The Meg, which we will praise until the day. I can't wait to put Sean Hobbs on my fucking top 10 next year.
Dude, that movie's gonna be phenomenal.
Dude, it's gonna be amazing. Idris Elba's a superhero. I'm in. I'm fucking
Brixton. Let's talk
Bad
RBG,
guy.
baby.
RBG. This movie's okay.
Yeah.
It's very okay. It's super okay.
And it does what I hate in docs though, is it's just a talking head with PowerPoints.
This is
and
this
I
is an
hate
episode.
That.
This
I
is
think we're past that point in docs.
Oh,
right?
I completely agree. Look at Three Identical Strangers. Like, this is like the same sort of formula done as a film. Like, because that movie's edited like a film. This is edited like a fucking episode of 60 minutes.
Yeah, and it's also like it barely dives into her life because
Yeah,
she's
no,
like
it's-
one of the most interesting people ever, for sure.
It talks about like 2 or 3. It feels like a pilot episode to like an RBG Netflix series.
Yeah, it feels like a Netflix thing that just should be 13 episodes because they really stretch out that information.
Yeah, but then also like they kind of make it about nothing. Like, it's just so weird that they presented this movie this way, because the reason this movie is good is because Ruth Bader Ginsburg is a fucking interesting and important person.
Absolutely. She's so interesting. She's just like the cutest little old lady.
I love her. I want to give her I want to give her 10,000 hugs.
Everybody loves her, and that's why it got voted in, because everybody loves her.
Yes, absolutely.
She's an American icon.
Absolutely, of
And
course
she did
is.
so much. So much, and they barely even did brush over it like it was
Yeah.
nothing. Like, especially all of her work like in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah,
Brush over it.
They barely talk about it. And you know what I do like about this movie a lot is that they never say that RBG is like a feminist in this movie.
Yeah.
They say that she's for gender equality, and that's so apparent because she also takes cases that are on the other side of the spectrum. Like there's that case that she took about the man whose wife died in childbirth, and they wouldn't give him maternity pay because he was a man.
Absolutely, and that's what made her a great justice. Whereas
She can see both sides of the story.
when you see like fucking Kavanaugh who replaced her, that's like a guy that clearly only sees the right side.
Yeah, Kavanaugh's an insane person.
I bet
He's
she
a bad
does.
man. Kavanaugh's a bad man.
Yeah, and that's what the crazy thing about that is that's a lifetime position. So we get to hear about Kavanaugh for 30 years probably. Maybe more, because he's not that old. He's only like 50 or 60.
Well, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg is doing all sorts of shit now. Like she's, she's touring.
To look into her like actual life was so much fun. Like just seeing her go to the opera and stuff. But like,
the opera is like my favorite part.
this is all great stuff. But like, I'd rather actually know about her accomplishments. But maybe she didn't want it to be like a braggy kind of doc. I don't know how much input she had on it.
Yeah. That is a question that I was gonna ask as well, is like how much input did she really have on the direction of this, because it's so lukewarm the entire time.
Sure.
And like it's presented in a way that's, dare I say, boring. Actually, quite boring.
Pretty boring.
And like, I just think I almost feel like this movie is almost a disservice, because
It's almost like, to me, this is a movie that talks more about the pop culture of RBG than really
what she was actually about.
Which
Exactly.
I think is like kind of offensive, but maybe she didn't want that.
This feels like somebody read the Wikipedia. Like, this feels like somebody was just
It's not
narrating
even,
the Wikipedia.
It's that for like the first half, and then the second half is just them looking at pop culture RPG stuff, like watch SNL and stuff.
And that's kind of fun.
That's fun. I'm not saying it's not fun. I'm just
yeah.
saying that's like not the doc I wanted from this.
Yeah, I really would like to know,
Because
about,
I'm not American. I don't really know that much about RPG, to be honest.
because she had a huge societal impact on the United States and on and genuinely like on the decision for gender equality, like moving forward with gender equality. And we're not even there yet, like, which is crazy. We're not even there yet after fucking 40 years of her trying her little heart out.
She's so small.
She's she like 4'1"? Like, she's
I don't know.
tiny.
She's little.
She looks like a little gremlin now.
The best is like just her falling asleep at places.
Oh
That's
yeah,
fucking hilarious.
when she falls asleep in court, that's hilarious. That's super super funny. But yeah, I do think like what happened was they got like the cliff notes on her life story, and then they just Googled Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and it's like, all right, just pick the first 5 things you find, and that'll be the second half of the movie.
Yeah,
and yeah, it feels unstructured as a whole, especially in that second act where it's just them firing out like just useless information about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Like I don't need to know that 50,000 people or like what 5,000 people signed up for her book signing. I don't need to know that. I need to know why. I need to know why 5,000 people signed up for her book signing. You know, and that's just information that this movie doesn't really offer up too much.
I am glad that Notorious B.I.G. did have like a short clip.
Yeah,
Of course, a short section.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I love that at the beginning of the movie, like the intro to this movie is edited like Ruth Bader Ginsburg was a gangster.
Yeah, because that's like an original song that's up for an award.
And like I was really excited after I saw that intro because I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a movie about somebody very old fashioned that's edited in a way that's relatable to young people. Great, but it's not that.
That's not that.
But it's not that. It's CNN. This movie is actually made by CNN,
And that makes sense.
and you can tell.
It looks like a TV thing.
Yeah, and maybe it should have been. Maybe it should have just been like an episode of a TV show. Maybe it should have been a 60 minutes episode. Who knows?
It's a CNN doc. It's basically what it.
Basically what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But yeah, this movie, it is good because I love Ruth and I love seeing her on
Well,
screen.
she's very likable.
And she's funny. Like she's very funny
she's
and
hilarious.
entertaining. Yeah. Especially like you know what I hated though? My least favorite thing that happened is there's like a 10-minute segment where she talks junk on Donald Trump. And then Donald Trump is like, Ruth Bader Ginsburg is a fucking flinch on society. Like, and he's talking shit on her, and it's like, I really hate this part.
drop her.
Yeah. I could bare knuckle box Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
How come nobody talks about how Donald Trump threatened to beat the shit out of Joe Biden anymore? How are we not? I'm talking about that every day. I'm like, hey, I'll just see a random person on the street. I'm like, hey, remember when Donald Trump said he would drop Joe Biden if they ever fought? I want Donald Trump to be impeached so that they can have that bare knuckle fight.
Yeah, me too. Oh, and it's coming. I want him to be impeached, and I want it to be Joe Biden's doing.
God damn, that's funny.
God.
But yeah, her what's that other creepy? Oh, Scalia, that creepy justice. I think he's gone now too. But that creepy fucking Republican guy, and how they were like always hanging out and shit. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. Man, there was just there was so much potential for a movie like this, and I think the problem is
Feels
that
rushed, hey?
Yes, it feels rushed, but more importantly, I think Ruth Bader Ginsburg just did too much to fit it into 90 minutes.
That's probably
and
true.
for some reason, it had to be 90 minutes. Like you couldn't have made this bitch 2 hours. Like
for TV.
Yeah. Yeah, that is what it is, I guess. Make it 2 hours. Make it a movie, because this isn't a movie.
No.
But
It's fine.
it's fine, because Ruth Bader Ginsburg is entertaining and funny and interesting.
Absolutely.
But man, just like, oh, I'm sorry.
She
you
should have a
gotta
podcast or something.
like it's almost weirdly offensive how they represented her in this movie, because it's like you're gonna spend 25 minutes telling me how she raised her kids. That's not. Fucking everyone does that. Show me the shit that nobody does that she's done, which is a lot. You know, show me the gender equality shit, you fucking fuck faces.
Oh, settle down, gently.
Yeah. No, and I do think this movie is fine because, like I said, the reason it's interesting is because Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
And that's
Is an
why
interesting
it got
person.
nommed, and I
Yeah.
get that.
Yeah.
But how won't you be my neighbor not get nommed?
How fuck? Mr. Rogers, also an American icon.
Yeah.
Maybe more so. No, that's not true.
Although I did read something interesting that docs about people in Hollywood almost never get nommed because
Yeah,
they don't like
fucking-
to vote for their own shit.
Like how?
Well, Hal would have. I don't think Hal had a nomination around him. Whereas once you be with your neighbor, it definitely had
Yeah. And it should have been nommed.
They definitely sent out screeners and shit.
Yeah. It's just, it starts with the W. It's way at the bottom of the list.
That's what someone pointed out on Instagram. I saw
Yeah.
the guy from Roots.
Yeah. Root. So this movie's a 3-star. It's
Yeah,
fine.
it's 3. It's fine.
It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine.
I didn't have a bad time. I just wish it was a little deeper.
Oh boy, we've been watching these Predator movies, and oh man.
Now, this whole time, I thought I had seen AVP, but it turns out it was this piece of shit that I've seen before.
Dude, this movie. Here's the thing: is that Predator was not as good as I remember it being. Predator 2 was a shitty half star, and I'm like, no way, it gets worse than this. Saw AVP, and I'm like, oh, it does get worse than this. And I saw AVPR, and I'm like, how did they even achieve this level of shittiness in a film?
Dude, it's barely a movie, dude. It starts off like it's Halloween or like a slasher. Like they set it up like it's a slasher with all these teenagers that they just set up to be slain.
You know what I love about this movie? Is that at the very beginning of the movie they show like the Predator face, like with the crab face in full light, but then they do the classic Predator helmet takeoff, the slow helmet takeoff reveal fucking twice. I've already seen it.
It's crazy because this almost feels like a bunch of shit they shot and they're like, how can we fit this together?
So I want to talk about that specifically, what you've just said, because that is the biggest thing that I picked up on. This movie, I feel like they didn't watch it before it came out, and I have a reason why I think they didn't watch it before it came out. This movie takes place in one day, and at various times throughout the movie, they say it's September of 2005, and then sometimes it's June of 2006. I'm not fucking shitting you. Go back and rewatch it. It's in there. This movie takes place in one day, and sometimes it's September, sometimes it's June.
Why do they even say that? Like, why do they even say the date?
I don't remember, but I remember like seeing it and being like, "Wait, hold up!" And then I Googled it because I was like, I want to make sure that I didn't just like dream this or something. And no, it's actually a continuity error.
In the goofs.
It's in the goofs on IMDb. Like it's a continuity error that's in this movie.
That's insane, dude. Because this movie is so crazy. It just starts out like straight up like a slasher movie, like it's Halloween or something. Like it's Halloween fucking 5 or whatever, with these fucking teenagers just doing whatever.
Who
movie, cares?
You know what this movie reminds me of? It reminds me of that Nick Cage movie 211. You remember that?
No, barely.
Okay, so you know why it reminds me of that movie? Is because there is so many characters in this movie.
Right. Oh, that movie did have a lot of characters.
For no reason. None of them did anything. There's so many fucking characters in this movie, and they don't do anything. Like, there's like the sheriff character, there's like 4 cop characters.
Yep.
There's like the guy, like the main pizza delivery boy. There's the girl who likes him for some reason. There's her boyfriend, whose name is Dale, which, by the way, Dale is a funny name, so I'm into it.
I love Dale.
He's got like 4 buddies that sort of tag along with them. Then there's like the scene where they're in the coffee shop and the waitress is serving them, and then all of a sudden the waitress is the main character for a while.
Yeah, dude, this movie's it's insane, dude.
And then the line cook is the main character for a bit.
What's crazy about this movie is it starts off feeling like a slasher, and then that kind of just goes away, and then it turns into like a Red Dawn clone.
Yeah,
where like the aliens and predators are attacking this small city for some reason.
Yeah, for no reason.
For some reason.
And they really never even attempt to explain.
Maybe they do, and my eyes were closed, but it's hard to say.
There's the hunting guy and his kid. Too. Those characters.
Right at the beginning.
Yeah, right at the beginning, and then. Oh, by the way, this is the only Alien vs. Predator movie that, or at least this is the only Predator movie, at least that I've seen, where the Predator has a name. I thought that was kind of interesting. His name was Wolf. They said it in the movie.
Oh yeah, they did say that.
Yeah, they said that his name is.
Hey, don't name him.
Don't name him.
Don't name him.
Don't need it. Definitely don't need
this.
It.
Dude, Ridley. I hope he hasn't seen this one, or else he would have blown his brains out.
It's really bad
because Ridley's so cocky that he thinks
they put H.R. Geiger in the credits like 5th, and I'm like, that's a disservice.
That's the best that Ridley thinks the best sci-fi movies are in this order: Star Wars, Alien, Blade Runner. It's like, you made 2 of those, bro. And he's like, I know. He's
like, I know. And then you're like, shit, he's not wrong though. That's
the problem.
That is the problem. He's not wrong. Those are the 3 best sci-fis. And there's just like the acting in this movie.
John Ortiz is like the only famous guy kind of in it.
Like the Mexican cop guy?
Yeah. And he is so bad.
He's the best actor in this movie, and he's so bad. And I actually
He's the only person that I know, like I've seen from other stuff. The rest of these people, I don't know who the fuck they are.
I actually wrote down a note here. First of all, you know, like the pregnant waitress lady?
Yeah.
At one point, she's like 3 months pregnant, and then suddenly she's just having the baby. And it's like, okay, this takes place in one day, but go on. My favorite part about this movie is, and this is like the worst acting I've seen in a movie in years, dude, in years. They're at the hospital, and they're like, there's like the pregnant lady's in the bed, and she's like, is the power coming back on? And they're like, no, we're on backup generators. And then the lady looks down, she's like, I think my water just broke. Huh? Is that how you're gonna deliver that line?
Dude, I thought I was gonna fucking jump out the window. I only live on the 3rd floor. Wouldn't have killed me probably.
Oh man, it also has that same thing that like the early Transformers do, where like when the alien and the Predator's actually fighting,
that's
it's like quick shot shit.
That's actually a good point. This does remind me of like some early Transformers shit.
Well, it was made in the same year as the first Transformers movie.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and it makes sense. And by the way, I just want you guys to be aware: these directors never worked before or after this.
Yeah, I think they wrote some shit though.
Yeah, I think.
Oh no, they made Skyline. They made that movie Skyline.
Skyland.
Skyline. It was like
with
it was that alien movie.
Yeah.
Well, they were trapped inside of a building.
Yeah, that movie's also bad though.
It is bad. Yeah. I think I saw the second one. I think.
Yeah. So like the big.
Oh, they work in visual effects.
They do work in visual effects. I think they worked on like Bumblebee and like some other shit, or maybe not that one, or no Skyscraper. That's what they worked.
Skyscraper.
On. Yeah, they worked
Rampage.
on Skyscraper. Yeah, Rampage. A lot of rock
San
stuff.
Andreas. Actually, not Skyscraper, but San Andreas and Rampage.
Oh, okay. So a lot of rock stuff.
Avengers, Avatar, 300, Conjuring 2, Day After Tomorrow.
So
which
they're
is funny because they also produced 2012. Which is the same movie as
Day After Tomorrow.
That's right. Constantine. Oh, this makes sense. They did the visual effects on Death Note.
Wasn't Day After Tomorrow in 2012 directed both by Roland Emmerich?
Maybe.
He made the same movie twice. Wait, was it Roland Emmerich who made both those movies?
Yep,
yeah,
you're
was.
right. You're
yeah.
right.
Hey, can't do that. Can't make the same
Roland
movie
Emmerich.
twice.
What's crazy though is
You boy rapist?
2012 is still on the top 100 grossing movies of all time.
Yeah, a lot of people saw it.
Still on there.
Yeah, because people were scared.
It's like in the 80s, but it's still on there.
Here's the thing about that whole 2012 conspiracy of how like the world was going to end on like December 23rd or something. It's like I didn't believe it, but like I'm prepared. Certainly prepared.
Roland Emmerich. He said those Bryan Singer parties got pretty crazy. You know what that means?
He's a boy rapist.
Fucked a boy.
Yeah. So I just like there's so many more things about this movie that's just so crazy. A couple of things I will say about this movie that are like kind of positive, but only positive in the fact that there's a couple of things it does better than the first AVP.
Yeah.
Aliens look better.
Yeah.
The aliens look a lot better in this one. They're a lot less shiny. They're less cat monster-y.
They don't look like a cat monster.
Yeah, and the Predator and this one's better in the fact that it's more contained in the fact that it's one Predator and 3 aliens.
Sure.
Okay, that's still not quite what I want, but
I'll
there.
go with that.
Yeah, we're definitely getting there. The biggest problem with this movie is that like so much of it is shot either at night or in a fucking sewer.
Oh yeah, so you basically can't see it.
Dimly lit.
It looks
this is
like,
a really dimly lit.
I think
film.
I wrote that down that it looks like much like Solo. It looks like it was shot with dirt on the lens.
You know who I like in this movie though? I like David Hornsby. God, I love when he's working.
Oh yeah, Hornsby.
He's in it for like a few seconds. I do. He's not good, but I do like when he's working. Oh man. Yeah. And there's so much inconsistency in this movie. I'm looking at my notes here, and I actually see another example of inconsistency, and it's like the scene where the main character goes and he starts shooting at the Predator, and the Predator runs away because the Predator just killed his girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah.
And then like an alien tail comes out of nowhere and stabs him through the chest. And then it comes back out, and they're like, no, and they run to him.
Oh, right.
And then in the next shot,
God, the budget's so low. Dude.
There's no hole in the chest, by the way, in the next shot. There's
the budget is so low, player.
There's no hole in the chest. And not only that, but that character's just in the rest of the movie.
God
and it's like,
damn it.
He got stabbed through the chest by alien tail. He's dead.
Zero consistency.
He's fucking dead, all right? Stop letting him... he's just running around for the rest of the movie, too.
Dude, I'm pissed.
Yeah.
I'm pissed.
You know what's the worst thing that happens in this movie, though? Are you ready for it?
I am ready.
You know,
what you're saying. Yeah.
Is like when they're at the top of the building and like they're trying to fight off the Predator, and he turns to his brother and he's like, "Let me help," and the brother's like, "Get to the chopper." Fuck you.
And they say it.
Fuck
They say
you.
it multiple times too, because there's another point where he's like, "Shut the fuck up if you don't have a chopper." I wrote that one down because I'm like, "Yo, what? Shut the fuck up if you don't have a chopper."
Why are all these fucking shitty maybe from Supernatural ass actors fucking in this movie acting 0%?
I don't know, dude. It's like, this is your break,
Yeah.
and you completely don't even try.
You fucked it up, dude. This is one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
It's definitely one of the worst we've ever reviewed on here.
It's shockingly shitty. It doesn't it looks better than AVP in its special effects, but the cinematography is way worse.
Yeah, it's clear these guys have never
much
held
worse.
a camera before.
Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
didn't hire someone who could hold a camera.
Absolutely. And
I wouldn't be surprised if they try to do the cinematography themselves.
yeah, and then this movie becomes about Red Dawn, and then guess what? Like, they're just like, hey, we're just gonna nuke everything because we have no idea how to end this fucking thing.
Yeah, that buffaloed me, dude.
Yeah,
Because I
that's
think
like-
I had turned it off before that last time I watched this.
I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, is this shitty The Mist?
So I remember like the first 55 minutes pretty clearly, and I think that's about when I turned it off last time.
Yeah.
Because the ending of this is it's
Dog
Jesus,
shit, dude. It's absolute
Jesus
dog
Christ.
shit. It's one of the worst endings I've seen in a film ever. This is the opposite of The Mist. While The Mist is a brave 5.
Brave.
This is a cowardly half star, dude.
God, it's bad.
It's really, really bad.
You didn't even bring my disc back.
Oh shit! Yeah, I assumed you did not want it.
I want AVP.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. I'll bring you back, AV. But they're both half stars, so you don't want them.
Yeah, I like AVP.
I'll keep your Blu-ray.
No, you'll bring it back.
Yeah, I'll bring it back next time. Podcast Bot 8000. Hello, Buck.
Hey.
I have just completed emptying my oil canister in your bedroom.
You know what was interesting?
Yeah.
I woke up the other night and I noticed my hand was hanging off the bed and you were biting my nails.
Yeah. Very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Nutritious for robots.
Okay.
Delicious, yummy. Yum, yum, yum. Hey, Buck, guess what?
Yeah.
On the next episode of the Movie Epidemic podcast, we are going to be watching Hale County. What I forget what the full title of that film
Full
is.
title this evening, this morning?
Yeah, Hale County this evening, this morning. At Eternity's Gate, starring da boy Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, our boy.
We're gonna
maybe Shitty Willem Dafoe will make an appearance. We don't know.
Yeah, we'll continue with our Predator series with Predators with Artie and Brody.
It's hard for me to continue this series, but we will do it for you, for the people.
And we will be watching the Lego Movie 2, the second part.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, actually on that note, I went to the press screening of that.
Oh, yeah?
I don't want to talk about the movie yet because we're going to talk about it next week.
No, but you can talk about the screen.
Yeah, I can talk about the screening. The screening. First of all, big thanks to WB for sending me out to that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I couldn't make it out.
Buck Leduc just
make it out.
didn't show up. It
No,
was
I can't.
crazy.
I can't do stuff on Wednesday. That's definitely the day. And
Yeah.
why is that the day that they screen stuff?
Yeah, I don't know. It's great. It's just Wednesday. I guess 'cause-
Sometimes it's Monday, but it's usually Wednesday.
I think this week it's Tuesday. They're airing the press screening of Alita, Battle Angel.
I don't really want to go to that. Then.
Yeah, me neither. It's 2.5 hours. Do you know that? It's 2.5 fucking hours.
What? We're not seeing that movie. Dude.
Well, we're seeing it, but it is 2.5 fucking hours. But like I think the press screening has like bonus features and stuff like behind the scenes stuff after. And I think
Did they talk about that? Or where'd you get this information from?
I got it off of Cineplex's website. They're talking about it on Cineplex's website. And there's like gonna be like I think there's like a quick Q&A, and they're like Q&A with the cast, but you know what that means? It's gonna be like somebody who's in the movie for like 8 seconds. who
Well,
just
it'll be
shows
like via Skype, probably.
oh, maybe maybe Jennifer Garner will just roll up or something. Nah, it definitely
She
won't be.
in that movie?
Yeah, Jennifer Garner's in that movie. Yeah,
Okay.
It definitely won't be Christoph Waltz. It'll be that girl.
I hope it's Rodriguez.
God, I would love it if it was a Rodriguez.
I'd love to see Rodriguez.
You know, we might have to go see that. Actually, we might have to go to that.
Okay.
But yeah, so at the Lego Movie 2 premiere, there was a kid next to me, and on my left. And let me say something about screenings of kids movies, because there's always a lot of kids. But the problem is that kids don't shut the fuck up. And the kid to my left didn't say a word.
God bless him.
I was so grateful. He sat down next to us, and I was like, "Oh, you fucking guy! No, you fucking guy! You're gonna talk the whole movie." Didn't say a word. However, to my right, we got this maybe early 50s, late 40s type guy, and I've seen this guy at these press screenings before. He must be a critic of some sort. I don't know who he is, but I've seen him.
Because the thing about where we live is Like half the room is press screening and half is just the rest of the people that they got one off the radio so they can fill up the theater.
They won tickets off the radio and shit like that. Or they like gave them away on Facebook or something. Yeah, that is the problem with the press screenings here. But to my right is this guy who I've seen it. I think he might actually be a critic because I've seen him at I'm pretty sure I saw him at the Meg and I'm pretty sure I saw him at like Fantastic Beasts and Where to Grindelwald. And this time around, he's usually by himself, if I'm recalling correctly, if it's even the right guy that I'm thinking of. But this time he brought his wife, and his wife is clearly not as into films as he is. Yeah. Which is fine. Now, I brought my girlfriend to this because Buck Ledoux couldn't go, so I was like, I got to bring somebody. So I brought my girlfriend to this, and she doesn't watch a lot of movies either, right? So this movie is packed full of pop culture references. Yeah. But we're in a theater. So I'm like, oh, if my girlfriend's not getting the pop culture references, boo fucking who. Like, that's too bad for her, you know? Like, it sucks for her. This guy on my right, however, did not have this same courtesy and decided that every time a pop culture reference happened, he had to lean over and be like, that's a reference to Mad Max Fury Road in the scene where
God, it sounds like sounds like this guy might have had a little touch of the tism, dude.
I think he might have had some CTE, dude. I almost fucking stood up and used my fist to give him some CTE, dude.
God, just grab one of those seats and smash him over the head like a professional wrestler.
I was so pissed, and it was most of the movie. He's like, that's like Chris Pratt's character from Jurassic
So it sounds like there's a lot of references in this bad boy.
It's very, very heavy satire.
Right, I'm excited. I'm seeing it tomorrow
on cinema. The first 20 minutes is just straight up a Fury Road parody, and it's like it's actually pretty funny. Yeah. Just because, and we'll get into it more when we talk about it next week. But yeah, we'll get more into it next week. I won't say what I think about the movie yet.
Okay.
But
no, save it for the pod.
We'll save it for the pod. So yeah, that's what we're talking about next week. Buck Leduc did not want to go see Cold Pursuit for some reason.
No, we're seeing that this week.
Oh, we are seeing it this week?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
For our next episode.
Oh, okay, good. Because I do want to see Cold Pursuit really bad.
Well, we have to go see it, dude.
Well, we have to talk about Liam Neeson and what he's done.
Yeah.
The thing that he's done. God, he's just done something so foolish. But we'll talk about that, of course, when we talk about Cold Pursuit in a couple of weeks. Yeah. The Oscar race is almost done. We can finally watch Best Friends Volume 2.
Thank God.
We can watch Best Friends Volume 2. Finally, we can watch fucking... I might make you watch that Robin Hood movie with Taron Egerton. I don't know. Probably not.
If Ben Mendelsohn doesn't play a stereotypical gay villain, I'm out.
I think he does though. In Robin Hood.
I would imagine he can do it right.
So you can follow us on Twitter at Movie Epidemic. You can follow us on Instagram. Oh, excuse me. Also at Movie Epidemic, or Facebook Punch Nerds Movie Epidemic.
Absolutely. Follow us on YouTube.
Thanks for listening, and don't talk in the movie theater, you fucking guys.
Hey, enough of that.